All right, guys, it is 7:01. So we'll go ahead and call the December 7th, 2021 regular meeting of the City Council to order. Tonight, our invocation is going to be given by Pastor Raul Maya of Centro Cristiano Bethel. Thank you so much for being here.
Good evening, everyone. I brought my daughter. She wanted to come with me this evening. And again, it's a privilege and an honor to be here, to be able to lead invocation. Would you bow your heads with me as we pray? Lord, we are so grateful for the staff here, Lord, in the city of Erlanger. They have such an important job keeping the offices running as they should. Thank you for the ways you have gifted them to support so well. I pray that you would wrap your arms around these men and women to show them love, grace, strength, and encouragement. Provide them with the knowledge needed to approach each situation in the best way possible. Help them to know you and see your presence in the work that they do. And Father, give them the stamina to approach each day and to find a balance between work and life so that they would be sustained. Give them peace when their work takes them away from their families. We bless them. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please rise for the pledge. All right. Mrs. Hoffman, if you can please take roll.
Ms. Elmore? Present. Mr. Cahill?
Present.
Ms. Kyle?
Here.
Mr. Skidmore?
Here.
Mr. Hermes?
Here.
Mr. Doan?
Here.
Mr. Meyer?
Present.
Ms. Skidmore?
Here.
Ms. Nicely?
Present.
Mr. Nipper?
Here.
Ms. Reckers?
Here.
Ms. Jasper Lucas?
Here.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, you've received a copy of the minutes from the November 2nd, 2021 regular council meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to be made at this time? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion that we adopt as presented. Mrs. Kyle, Mrs. Elmore, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. You've also received a copy of tonight's agenda. Are there any additions to be made at this time? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask that we approve as accepted. Mrs. Reckers? Mrs. Kyle? Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. All right. We'll get started with the special presentations from this evening. We have our business spotlight. We have Dan Clare here with the DAV. He's the Chief Communications and Outreach Officer. We appreciate you being here today. If you'd like to come to the podium. Okay.
I think we're going to play.
Oh. All right.
DAV is keeping the promise to hundreds of thousands of veterans of all generations. We help them receive the health, disability, and financial benefits they've earned so they can live the full, rewarding lives they deserve. DAV understands the needs of veterans because we're veterans too. Since 1920, we've supported our nation's heroes. Our services are free. Our commitment is total. DAV has more than 1 million members and nearly 1,300 local chapters. Every year at service offices and in towns and communities nationwide, DAV professionals interviewed more than 330,000 veterans, helping them cut through the red tape to file more than 200,000 claims for VA benefits. DAV advocates help veterans understand their benefits and remain by their side through every step of the claims and appeals process. Last year, we helped veterans and their families receive more than $20 billion in earned benefits. We also place DAV advisors on military installations all over the country to help service members transition to civilian life. The most critical benefit promised to veterans who are changed as a result of their military service is health care. But many veterans don't receive the care they need because they don't have the means or ability to get to their VA medical appointments. The DAV Transportation Network brings thousands of volunteer drivers to the rescue. They log millions of miles each year, giving veterans more than 600,000 rides to and from medical appointments at no charge. DAV is also working to help transitioning military members, veterans, and their spouses find meaningful employment through our in-person and virtual job fairs. Through traditional and virtual career fairs, DAV is the most prolific charity in the nation in terms of connecting veterans with employers. Just as veterans fought for our way of life, DAV fights for theirs in Washington. We are a tireless and respected advocate for the rights of all veterans. Now we're leading the way to improve the lives of women veterans with our powerful voice on Capitol Hill. When DAV speaks, policymakers listen, and veterans' lives get better. DAV also keeps its promises to the millions of concerned citizens who donate their financial support to our mission. Each year, we put their generous gifts to work, serving more than 1 million veterans in life-changing ways, just as we have for a century. Our record of service to veterans is unmatched. We do whatever it takes to serve all of America's ill and injured veterans because they did whatever it took to serve all of us. A promise was made, and DAV makes sure that promise is kept.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor, council members, community members. Thank you for welcoming DAV to your community. I don't know that everyone realized when you were approving the massive American flag that we now have outside of our headquarters, what sort of location was coming your way. Erlanger became this year one of a host to probably the most significant part of the modern veterans movement when you invited DAV to become part of your community. The video covered a lot of ground there. It hopefully also made it make sense when you see all those vans parked out there. Those are all waiting to go back out into the community to help veterans get to and from their medical appointments. Without those vans, without those vehicles, there are a lot of veterans who wouldn't get the care that they need from the VA. And it's been a very trying and challenging move in the middle of a pandemic to come into Erlanger, but we couldn't have received a warmer welcome than we did from the community. I do want to encourage people to let all of you know that there are ways that you can get involved in DAV. One of the ways that we desperately need help, especially coming out of the pandemic, is with that transportation network and those vans that we just talked about. You don't have to have a major commitment to do that, but I just learned today that DAV lost, unfortunately, one of our volunteer drivers, and we only have, for the entire tri-state, 2 volunteers who make it a point to drive veterans to and from their appointments. That can be done in, that's transporting people back and forth from Cincinnati, but now we have 2 vehicles and 1 volunteer left on the road. So if anyone wants to get involved and volunteer, that's one way you can do it. The career fairs that we talked about up there, that's an area where we're going to continue to grow. Entrepreneurship, supporting that is something that's important to DAV as well. We've had to cut back how many career fairs we do from around 144 to only 94, 98 last year. But that's also an opportunity for you to hire and reach out to people. So I'd encourage any business owners who are here, even government agencies, if you're interested in hiring veterans, get involved. That's a partnership that we have with Recruit Military. We'd invite you to come out to a career fair, participate that way. Another thing, if you're hiring veterans, we'd like you to participate. We have a Patriot Employer program that can be found at patriotemployer.org. And if you know a business who makes it a point to hire veterans, makes that part of your corporate or government culture, we want to recognize you. And that's not to mention about the help and services that we offer. Right here in Northern Kentucky at our headquarters in Erlanger, we have a full-time national service officer who's a professional, trained person to do this. He's an attorney, in fact. If you know a veteran who needs help with their claims, please send them over to our national headquarters. We're very proud of the facility. Mayor, we're very proud to have you there for the ribbon cutting. But it's not just there to look good, it's there to be a place for veterans to get help. So if you need any assistance, know someone who needs assistance, please let us know. We also have a National Service and Legislative Headquarters in Washington, D.C. We are the congressionally chartered voice for all of America's disabled veterans, and our auxiliary represents their families as well. So if there's things that we can do from a voice perspective, or if you want to get involved and advocate legislatively for DAV, we'd encourage you to visit our website to do that as well, dav.org. Our membership is, we have 1 million members. We have about nearly 1,300 chapters nationwide. Here in Northern Kentucky, we have a good active chapter, Chapter 19, who meets at our new national headquarters now. We're right here in the area. If you know someone who wants to get involved that way, just if you want someone to pop in and learn more about DAV resources, please send them our way. It's a great pleasure to be here representing DAV. If there are any questions I can answer, please let me know. But foremost, I just want to thank all of you for inviting us to be here. It was a difficult pandemic for all of us. It has been and will continue to be. But I hope you're as proud as we are to host DAV's national headquarters. And because of what we do at that headquarters, we're able to do all the things you saw in the video nationwide. That's where our fundraising takes place. That's where our transportation network is operated out of. So if there's anything that we can do for any veterans you know, or there's any way you want to be involved, please let us know. We're happy to help. If there's nothing else, Mayor?
I just want to say thank you. Your facility has become quite the icon in the Erlanger landscape, and we're so proud and so blessed to have you here. You've been phenomenal community partners, wonderful hosts yourselves. You just had the Erlanger Senior Thanksgiving Luncheon at your beautiful facility, and we heard nothing but rave reviews of the facility and the gardens in the back. Like, it's absolutely exquisite. So thank you for being such wonderful community partners.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Next special presentation, we have Julie Kirkpatrick, Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here, Mayor, council members, community members. Again, I am Julie Kirkpatrick. I am the president of Meet NKY, which is tourism in Northern Kentucky. I'm here tonight to talk about our alliances with the Northern Kentucky Chamber, Northern Kentucky Triad, as we work to build a place that people want to visit, live, and work. Just to let you know, again, we got our 3-county representation. We are regional organizations. We've aligned our mission during COVID. We are focused in 4 very big areas. Number 1 is obviously workforce. Workforce is a big concern across the region. We're going to talk a little bit about how that's impacting our ability to bring in new companies. It's a big issue for my industry in particular. I'm going to give you a little bit of stats about the tourism industry in Northern Kentucky, but we've lost 5,000 jobs during COVID. That's a disaster. It's going to be very hard for us to build that back. Also, building people and getting them and influencing them to move here starts with a visit. Did anyone ever move anywhere without visiting there first? That's one of the reasons that we're aligned. The other is health. If Brent was here, he would say good health is good business. I absolutely believe that I want all of our businesses to stay open. I want all of our visitors to continue to return to Northern Kentucky and Erlanger to get that amazing experience. We're aligned on transportation. That may be kind of weird for tourism to be aligned on that, but I realized if they can't get over the Brent Spence Bridge, they can't get to Northern Kentucky. So transportation is very important to us, and making sure that we're aligned on advocacy in Frankfort at the local level and on the national level. The chamber updates that Brent would like me to give to everyone is that they have hired a new vice president of public affairs. That is Tammy Wilson. She is right out of the gate because we are getting ready to go into a legislative session. It's going to be a very interesting session. The Northern Kentucky Chamber recently gave out 15 grants to 10,000 minority and women-owned businesses. This fell under their Grow NKY initiative. This is about making sure that we're continuing to grow those small businesses. And the really big thing that Brent wanted me to mention is that the annual dinner is coming up for the Chamber. That is December the 16th at the Northern Kentucky Convention Center. The theme is Raising Our Spirits. Brent's giving a little nod to our burgeoning bourbon industry here. From a tourism standpoint, I can give you a little bit of update on the pandemic. There are quite a few hotels here in Erlanger. Actually, the #1 hotel that services the tour industry that visits the Ark Encounter is located here in Erlanger. Our hotels as an aggregate during COVID fell from 80% occupancy to in the low 20s. That is devastating. We lost $700 million of economic impact. It has not all come back yet. Every time we think we're seeing some green space, we're getting ready to put our sails back out, something happens again with a variant, whatever the news may be. We have a lot of confidence that we think when we get into 2022, it's going to get better. We've had a lot of leisure travel this year. A lot of people have visited Northern Kentucky for the first time from outside the state. They've loved their experience, so we know that that's going to continue to get better next year. We recently launched a strategic planning process at Meet NKY. This is going to be an assessment of the entire destination, 3-county, 36-city assessment on what are we missing from a tourism demand generation standpoint. One thing we're missing in Northern Kentucky is a really great sports park, something that would bring visitors in from outside the region. That's going to be part of this assessment. Along with that is going to be a destination plan on how we build those things. I kind of equate it to if Northern Kentucky is Disney World, what is our next ride to keep bringing the visitors in? Also, we are very focused, along with our chamber partners, on tourism workforce development. We know we've got to get the pipeline going to get these jobs filled once the demand comes back. At Triad, our economic development organization for the 3 counties, they are very focused in 2 areas. Obviously, the business services they provide when someone is looking to build a business or enhance a business here, as well as the community outreach to understand what site selectors are looking for when they look at a destination to build. They are launching a new program called Build and Elevate Northern Kentucky, BNKY, which is focused in 4 areas. One is a data-formed community, a data-formed decision-making so that they have the best data available when a site selector says, what is the education level, where are the sites, where are they located, activating the Port of Northern Kentucky. Lee has told me the #1 problem that we have in Northern Kentucky as a whole is site-ready areas. We have more demand than we have site-ready areas. An activated port could take that on and make sure that we have great areas that are ready to be activated for businesses. Again, I can't say it enough. If I've said it twice, I'll say it again. Workforce Solutions, Triad is very involved in delivering not just the workforce solutions for today, but what are the jobs we're going to need 10, 15 years from now to keep the growth going, and targeted business growth to diversify our economy, to make sure that we're bringing in those next-gen jobs. Again, the census data recently came out, and I have to tell you, I did you all a favor. I took out like 12 slides Lee put in on census data. You're welcome. Basically, Northern Kentucky is growing, but the Cincinnati MSA as a whole is getting older. I know that they were just talking about me, but overall, our community is getting older. We're not growing as fast as Columbus, Indianapolis, Nashville. We have got to do everything that we can do to bring younger people into the pipeline in Northern Kentucky, keep them growing and thriving here. If we don't, we're going to fall behind between our competitive set cities. And then finally, this is the contact information. Of course, I think everybody knows Brent, Lee. I am Julie, but I'm so thankful that you let me to come talk to you guys tonight about what we're doing. I will say one last thing. The #1 reason that somebody comes to Northern Kentucky is to visit friends and family. If you want to know more about what there is to do in Northern Kentucky, please visit our website, meetnky.com. We would love you to show off what we think is just one of the finest destinations in the South. Thank you. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
All right. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. Greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you all and the work you do for your city. Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda is comments of those other than council members. So we have quite a few people on this list, and I just wanted to tell you an update, because I see a lot of the individuals that are on this list are here for the Southwick-Brunswick stop sign. We have approved the stop sign and the crosswalk. It will be put into place. So you guys are all set. But thank you so much for being here. And if you still want to talk, you're more than welcome. Let's see here. So I have Joanna Herman. Oh, I'm sorry. Sure. The microphone is already on, so you are good to go. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and community members. My name is Jonna Herman, and I'm here tonight with my husband, Todd. We currently live in the Lakemont community, and we'll soon be moving to Southwick, so it's nice to meet all of my new neighbors. Our concern is actually related to stop signs. We wanted to request that we consider adding those nice little extra signs on stop signs that say, come to a complete stop and it's free. If it's a rolling stop, it's $170 or whatever. My husband and I were almost hit earlier this year. We came very close to being hit by a driver down on Nelson and Thorntree, that intersection there, and it was quite scary. So we started to send some emails, had some correspondence with City Council and Public Works employees, but I've not seen any action taken as of yet. And we're still continuing to observe drivers that go through stop signs at a very high rate of speed. We actually saw a driver last week, went through 2 stop signs in a row on Nelson. And it's frightening. We have a lot of pedestrians in the area. We like to walk every day and enjoy our communities, but we're just really starting to not feel safe. So just asking tonight for Council to consider either additional patrolling, maybe these extra signs that are on stop signs that I've seen in other areas of Erlanger, and just to consider this for the future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Sure.
A quick question. The intersection you were talking about, that stop sign has a flashing light around it too, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay. So it's not like they didn't see it. They just completely ignored it.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was really
Okay.
scary. Yeah. It was definitely flashing. We were already in the pedestrian crosswalk, and that was where we almost got hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mrs. Reckers?
I asked about something similar a couple years ago because I think that I want to say it's Fort Mitchell or one of our neighboring communities has the little, this is fully stopping is free, and if not, it's $umpteen. Do you recall why that was not permissible?
I don't remember it being brought to Public Works to decide whether or not we were going to do that.
The amount of the ticket varies. I don't recall, but it's something, I mean, I definitely loved, I mean, I love the idea, it grabs your additional attention, but so do blinking lights, so that's, and I live in Lakemont as well, that's concerning that someone would plow through a crosswalk. I'm sorry that happened to you guys.
Thank you.
I don't know, I would like to just get an idea as to maybe why that was not visited previously, or something similar, or where we would want to implement it. I mean, we don't want to just do it in one particular neighborhood.
Yeah.
But Nelson is it can be a busy street. I mean,
Yeah.
Southwick residents would agree to that too. I don't know.
I think
I would just like it visited if that's cool.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
what we can do is talk with Peter and understand the cost of it, because I know that we wouldn't want to just do it on one street. We'd probably have to do an analysis on what streets require that type of signage. And then there's, of course, a cost associated with doing that. But it's not something that we shouldn't look into. So, Mrs. Jasper Lucas.
I was just going to say, as far as where to place them, I wonder if we could, I don't know if we have any kind of analysis of where we write the most tickets for running stop signs, but at least where I go every day, it does seem to be the same places all the time that people are running stop signs. My son was hit at Narrows and Brightleaf. His car was hit because the other person didn't stop and was turning and turned right into his car. And I see a lot of people at that particular intersection not stopping. There's not a crosswalk there, but it's an easy place to not stop. And all these places we're talking about right now are very close to a police station too. So it's not like there's not a police presence in those areas. I think that doing these little signs might be of some, I do notice them in other communities. I've noticed them, they're all over Ellesmere.
Okay. We'll look into the option and the costs associated and which streets we would go ahead and do it on.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
consideration. Really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. Thank you for the time.
Of course. Todd, do you want to speak as well?
Mine is, question, is there any plans for a dog park in Erlanger, maybe Flagship? It doesn't seem to be a place, and I know the Kenton County's working on the other park where the golf course was, but that sounds like it could be a couple years away, potentially. But maybe something in the Flagship Park or somewhere else, maybe in the general vicinity around that area. It seems like there's a lot of people with dogs. You live in Lakemont. I know some of you others have mentioned it. There's just a lot of people walking. I think that people would appreciate some place to be able to take their pet, let them run. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. We're actually working on, we've been working on for the past 3 years, master planning each of our 12 parks. And a dog park has been one of the goals of that master planning process. And we have identified a location within Erlanger that would be prime for a dog park. It's not necessarily by Flagship, but it's in the works. It's definitely in the works, but it's probably not going to be within the next couple of years.
Okay.
Because it's a longer term process to get it built. But the master planning process has begun.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Ms. Setters, she was here, but I think she left. Let's see here. Jeff and Karen Chambers. I think they left as well. We have Danielle Marks. Okay. 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 Thank you. Okay. Mr. Murgatroyd? You're fine? Okay. And I'm going to mess this one up because I'm having trouble reading it. Wendell Kemp? Derek? Okay, he must have left as well. And that's it. All right. Thank you all for being here. All right. Next on the agenda is the mayor's report. I'll keep it short and sweet. I want to, first of all, give a shout out to Public Works. I don't know if you have driven around our city at night and seen all of the extraordinarily awesome Christmas decorations, but they've just once again raised the bar, top-notch, exceptional. So I'm just extremely proud of the work. I know that all of them work tirelessly, and especially with the snow potentially approaching us. I just want to make sure that we show appreciation to the Public Works Department because they do a fantastic job. The other person I want to show appreciation to is Kim Wolking. our event planner. To say she is extraordinary is an understatement. The budget that she's given, she is able to plan so many events for our city, for all different age ranges. She goes above and beyond. And, you know, between the Thanksgiving senior luncheon, the Christmas tree lighting, the train display, the luminaries that are coming up, the home decorating contest, she just tries to make Erlanger just a very inviting and community-driven place, and I just can't appreciate her more. So thank you so much to Kim and everybody that works with Kim to make all of these fantastic events happen. So thank you. All right. That is the end of my mayor report. Mrs. Randall, our city administrator's report.
Good evening. Mr. Kramer has provided council with a number of updates regarding the property at 607 Perimeter Drive. We will begin the foreclosure proceedings again on this property unless there are any concerns or objections from council. At this point, the property is vacant and condemned, and there are over $5,000 in fines. So we will be seeking a court order to clean up the outside of the property and moving forward with that foreclosure process. I also want to note that the fire department has included some items that are administrative items that they would like to have surplused to be sold on an electronic auction. Due to the age and condition of that equipment, it's no longer serviceable. So that's on the agenda tonight for your consideration. And then with regard to bids, the landscaping bid for the Depot Park and facility, we received only one bid. So we have chosen to pursue another bid process a little bit later with the hopes of getting some additional bids for that project. That's all I have. Does anyone have questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Randall. Mr. Gatlin, city attorney report.
Other than what was just discussed, I just want to make sure that council is all, there was no one that said anything, but I want to give them another bite at the apple that we will move forward with foreclosure on the 607 perimeter. I know that Mr. Kramer sent a pretty detailed report with the cost-benefit analysis. This is probably one the city, I just want to make sure everyone's aware of this. We're not necessarily going to be made whole on this one, probably, but it's one that has been a long-standing problem that, frankly, we've tried every possible creative solution on, and I think, you know, through some of the methodology that we discussed several years ago, I think we've taken every possible step, and this truly is now the final thing. So I just want to make sure everyone's okay with that. Okay, we'll initiate that this week. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Glenn, report on capital projects.
Good evening, everybody. Got a lot of capital projects to report on today, so I'm going to move through them rather quickly. Feel free to interrupt me, and I'll go back with more detail if you want it. As far as our street capital projects, we're kind of wrapped up for the year. Lexington Avenue will be completed in the spring, so we've wrapped that project up for the year, and they'll be back in the spring to finish it. Sagebrush Lane. These are the 4 projects that we had, street projects for the entire year. Sagebrush Lane is new street and sidewalks, and that's completed. Shady Side with new street and sidewalks, and that project is completed. And Woodward Avenue is about 50% done, and they're done for the year, and we will be back in the spring to finish that. Design projects, Mr. Vyox is working on Zeta Court. So we'll be going, you know, we've had some money left in our budget for this year, so we're moving to Zeta Court to do a new concrete street replacement project there, and we'll be bidding that in the spring. Sidewalk projects for the year, our $200,000 street, our sidewalk improvement program is about 80% done for the year. We did Carriage Hill, complete replacement there, and then we moved on to Zone 2 and continued working, and we'll finish that program in the spring with the other 20%. Parks, we finished the play surface at Flagship. It's all completed and reopened to the public. If you go out there and see it, there's some footprints in about 25 to 30% of it, and the contractor will be out in the spring to tear that up and redo that portion of it. So we had fencing around everything, but still someone got in and did some damage. But the Bluegrass Recreational is great to work with, and they're going to come in and make good on it. Silver Lake basketball courts had a little bit of an issue with some distances on some free throw lines, so they had to come back and repaint them. So if you go down there and see that, it too will come. Then we lost good weather, so we can't go in there and repaint it now. So they're going to come back and do a better job at that in the spring, and so look for that to happen. And the restroom project at Silver Lake is out to bid, and we'll be opening bids December 21st on that project. Leaf collection program, our crews have been very, very hard at work at that, especially this week. And but that'll come to a conclusion on Friday for the season. We have 30 new holiday banners going up, so kind of new banners going up around town. We're using a lot of the honor banner brackets and stuff, so we're going to make good use of that and put up some holiday banners. Christmas tree drop-off this year is going to be at our maintenance facility starting December 26th through January 11th. So everybody can feel free to drop off their Christmas trees to us. Just a follow-up to a gentleman on Northway who came to a council meeting maybe a couple months ago to talk about some stormwater drainage issues that he and his neighbors are having in the backyards. Since then, we've met with him. We've had a public workshop where we invited 10 of the affected residents to come here to council chambers and to have a public workshop to find out how we can assist them and how they can use our detrimental stormwater project monies to help make some of the repairs. And so we conducted that workshop, and then we again reached out. We didn't have a lot of interest in it. Only 2 of the residents showed up. So just we reached out to everybody again since then, and we have talked to 1 other resident. So there's not a whole lot of community interest in that project, but if 3 of the residents want to come together, we're going to assist them. But I think we've done about all we can do to help them come together to take advantage of our program there. And I'd just like to thank the people that are here from the Southwick and Bronzewith intersection. They invited me to kind of a meeting they had a couple weeks ago, and it was very well attended. So it's really good that, you know, you have residents come and they have complaints about different things and whatnot, but they came together. There was like maybe 30 people at this meeting, and you know, we were kind of at odds when it started. You know, what I thought we needed and what they wanted was 2 different things, but I think, you know, we worked through it real nice through the course of that meeting, and came to a conclusion, and, you know, and heard all their complaints, and, you know, it was a very enjoyable process for me, and I want to thank them. Anybody have any questions on all that? Yes.
I don't have a question, but I want to echo what our mayor said about what a great job Public Works does. And as an example of that, during the leaf collection on my street, we have a lot of elderly people that live on our street, and there was an elderly gentleman out there, and he was trying to hurry up and rake back the leaves because the wind was blowing them away from the curb. And Public Works did not just sit in their truck and watch the man. They got out with rakes, and they actually helped him rake those leaves. And I thought, that is awesome, and they need to be thanked for that. I mean, our citizens really appreciate that, especially the older ones that can't move as agilely as they used to. So I want you to pass that along to them, that we really appreciate them helping our neighbors like that. That was awesome to see. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for making note.
Thanks for sharing, Vicki. Mr. Nipper?
Yeah, I just had a question. So go ahead. Was there somebody else?
I just wanted to thank your whole team in Public Works. I just love all the light displays. And I was so impressed. They were working so hard in the rain last week, I believe, on Dixie Highway to get that cleared up with all the lights and stuff. And everywhere you turn, there's lights everywhere in Erlanger, and I just love it. Thank you.
I love it, so it's contagious. I walked in here tonight, I did not know we did these lights in here. So, it was a great, pleasant surprise for me too. So it's, yeah, I think everybody in Public Works is really enjoying it. It's something fun that we can do.
Is the park in Sherborne, is that something that we maintain? Because I had 2 neighbors ask me about the swing set that's there.
Yes, that's a city-owned park. We
Okay.
took those swings down, not permanently, but temporarily, because they were malfunctioning. So it's a T-bar, if you can picture, one pipe coming up out of the ground, teeing off, and swings hanging off of it. And originally it was put in and started failing, because you a lot of weight and, kind of poor design, I would suppose. But it started rocketing and stuff like that. So I think repairs were made many years ago, and it has failed again. So we took it down, and we're going to put something else hopefully back in the spring, as far as maybe a new swing set, new type, or maybe a better configuration of what we got.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going back up.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. All right. Chief Rader? No report. Chief Whitaker? Kara Kramer? Mark Stewart? Mrs. Hoffman?
No report.
Mrs. Randall?
I do want to recognize Hummel Hatfield Insurance. They repaved their parking lot and then added some additional parking areas where they had some gravel previously. It looks tremendous. So I just want to commend them for their investment in the community, and that project was funded in part by a small business grant through the city. Also want to recognize Peacock's Bar and Grill. They did a complete repaving and striping of their parking lot, and it also looks terrific. So another great investment that's been funded by the Erlanger Small Business Grant. So just wanted to recognize those 2 businesses and thank them.
Thank you, Ms. Randall. All right. Reports of task forces. Mrs. Jasper Lucas?
I'm going to talk about my task force in just a minute, but I want to recognize Sherry, our city clerk. I don't think she gets a lot of accolades for something that was in her report this month. And I just feel like the public needs to know that her staff scanned all of the records that were in the Depot Museum. And I really think that her staff needs some attention for that and some thanks, because not only was it a huge project, but that is a really big deal to preserving the history of Erlanger. And I don't think a lot of people, if you haven't been a part of a scanning project before, I don't know that you can really appreciate what's involved, but I've been a part of one of those, and it's a lot of work. So I just think that that Sherry and her staff need some thanks for that, because I think that's a big undertaking, and like I said, it's a really big deal to preserving the history of our city. As far as the Race Relations and Diversity Task Force, just a couple of things. We will probably be proposing some legislation early next year, and I'll have some more on that, hopefully maybe in January or February. And we have an event coming up in February. There'll be more details about that. And then our Human Library event that we're partnering with the Erlanger branch of the Kenton County Library will be in March, and that'll be in an evening. And we're really excited about both of those. So just keep your eye out for more info on those.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any other? Mrs. Cahill?
I don't have a report, but I also wanted to say to Sherry Hoffman, thank you for that report, because I think that is awesome. And I really do think the citizens need to know what we've done with all the documents. And as Ms. Jasper said, that they have scanned all that. So we have it preserved, sent it over to the Historical Society, and also that we took all the contents of the depot, and we still have those preserved until we get everything fixed at the depot. Because a lot of people ask us, what happened to all this stuff, So thank you for that report. It was very, very good. And I feel really good after reading that report. So thank you.
I have to thank Rachel She did a lot of it in the beginning, and then Trisha Blake, when she was over with our department, she finished the project up. There was a lot of scanning, so I have to give those two credit.
All right. Any other task forces? Okay. All right. All right, next on the agenda is bids. Mrs. Hoffman, are there any bids tonight?
Yes, there's 3 of them. I think Peter's going to talk about 2 of them.
All right, here I am again. All right. First on the agenda is Stevenson Road Sidewalk. We went to bid on that in late October, and we've been kind of working with the contractor on that a little bit. The bid is within our budget, and it's Jefferson Contracting, who does many of our street improvement projects. They're very much one of our best street improvement project companies, and so we recommend that we go with them for the Stevenson Road project. And we talked a little bit about the Depot Park landscaping project, so we're going to go to rebid on that. Any questions? All right, thank you. Yes.
What is the cost on the Stevenson Road sidewalk, do we know?
Yes, we do. It's $248,290. No problem. But I really would like to thank Jim Vyox and his team on that project. That was a real tough one. And they spent a lot of time out there, you know, where do you start, where do you stop on replacing sidewalks? And he had a lot of good guidance for us as far as how we can approach that. And we would have been pretty lost without his direction on that. Thank you.
Peter, I'm going to add one other thing to the Depot Park landscaping and drainage, just so that everybody understands like where we are in that process. So at the end of July, I believe I was at the end of July, we cleaned out everything. And I want to thank Ms. Zelmore, even though she's not going to be happy with me that I'm calling her out. She helped me a great deal with organizing everything, packing everything very carefully, and preserving everything very cautiously. And then Public Works moving it into storage to where that's a clean slate now, so we can repaint the walls, fix the windows, add the UV lighting, the UV protection to those windows, and then all of the handicap accessibility changes that we're going to be making, and then all of the landscaping, the drainage. Like, it's a tremendous project and a tremendous investment into the depot. Yep. And I think once it is complete, it's going to be amazing to see those items come back into the museum and have that community space in the back, and to have this individual that we're going to be hiring within, January to March timeframe to coordinate all of this and coordinate events and transitioning the different collections in and out of the museum, and creating something really special and unique to our Erlanger history. So I want to thank you so much. Ms. Elmore had all of her children participating, Gabe and Scarlett, and even Ezzy was running around, and just the level of dedication, I appreciate it so much. So this is a really awesome project that once it comes to fruition, it's going to be exceptional. That's your word, right?
That's the word of the day. Yep.
That's your word. So
Right,
thank you. Okay, the next bid on the agenda is the police body-worn cameras. We did hear quite a bit of information about this last time. Do you have anything to add about that? Okay. All right. Any other questions before we move forward? Okay. All right. Does anybody have any unfinished business? Okay. Any new business? Mr. Meyer?
Yeah, Mayor, I just had one item. I haven't recalled us talking about anything to put on the caucus meeting that we would typically have the third Tuesday. So I'm going to ask that we officially, or I'm going to motion that we officially cancel that meeting.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Ms. Reckers. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Very good idea, Gary. That is the week of Christmas. So, Mr. Hermes, did you have a question?
Yes, I did have one thing to add, and I certainly didn't want to make it have a caucus meeting just for this, but Mrs. Reckers and I have been working on creating kind of a policy for the task forces. So I don't know that I think we're planning on discussing that in January, right? Yeah, okay. So we wouldn't be voting on it that quickly. Okay. Yeah, so that's just kind of giving a quick update on that and a heads up that we're going to be talking about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Anything else? Any other new business? All right. On. Oh, Mrs. Kyle, I'm sorry.
It's all right. I had a resident contact me about the corner of Stevenson and Turkeyfoot, and she was admiring our beautiful entrance to Erlanger, and it really is beautiful. It catches your eye when you come in. But then right across the street at Bright Futures, we have a donation box, and she said that it has become a problem because a lot of people are dumping things off, either for donations or sometimes it's just trash. And she told me that there was a couch and some kind of chair. So I told her, I said, okay, I'll go look at it. And I took a picture of it, and it was nice furniture. And so the problem is it's an ongoing thing. It's not the first time it's happened. I typically don't notice it, but that's just me. But I've heard other people say it's really a problem. So I don't know how we can take care of that since it's not our property. And I was just wondering, have we been in contact with the business owner there about something, or could they do something? I mean, I hate to see that box removed because so many people are in need right now. And I don't know, I mean, could the donation people put up a sign and say, if you have furniture, take it to St. Vincent de Paul or some other place, because I know there are places that take that furniture. And this was furniture in good repair. I mean, it wasn't something trash, but they say that trash is dumped there too. Now, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but other people, I mean, maybe our codes people have worked with it and they know that there's a problem there. Maybe the police have been called there too. I don't know. But I just think we need to do something, and I don't know what we can do since it's not our property. And I was just wondering if anybody had any suggestions.
Mrs. Kyle, we have been in contact with the business owner and are working on it through a code enforcement process. So hopefully we can come to a resolution on it.
Okay, hopefully, yeah, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and it's not the only donation box that has this issue. There's one on the corner of Baker and Commonwealth. There's another one that's down in the old hand-me-downs building. So this is an ongoing issue. Yeah, definitely. So I appreciate you bringing it up. Thank you. Okay, any other new business? Okay, all right, legislation. Mr. Gatlin.
First, we have an ordinance of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, amending the pay plan to include the position of Fire EMS Probationary Paramedic and Fire EMS Paramedic. You can see what has been struck through is, what has been underlined is what has been added, which is under H and I, which is the Fire EMS Probationary, I'm struggling tonight. Fire EMS Probationary Paramedic and the Fire EMS Paramedic. This is a second reading.
Okay, do I entertain a motion that we adopt this ordinance as presented? Mrs. Elmore, Mrs. Kyle. Any discussion? All right. Mrs. Hoffman, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Doan?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Nicely?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Reckers?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Elmore?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hermes?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Skidmore?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Kyle?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Jasper Lucas?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Nipper?
Yes, ma'am.
Motion carried.
Next, we have an ordinance establishing a city urban forest commission relating to the planting, maintenance, and removal of trees, shrubs within the city of Erlanger and public right-of-way, adjacent streets, sidewalks, and parks. If you look through the ordinance, you can see that there's a creation of the Urban Forestry Commission, which will consist of 5 members as appointed by the mayor and approved by city council. It outlines what the role is of that commission, and also that it gives, the commission has the power as it relates to the right to plant, prune, maintain, or remove trees, plants, and shrubs within the right-of-ways, parks, or other public areas. There's also a few other provisions that are in here, and my understanding is that creating this commission and following this policy allows us to apply to be a Tree City USA. Is that right? This is a first reading.
Mrs. Reckers, do you have a question?
Did we determine if that was a volunteer or compensated board?
Volunteer.
It says in the ordinance that members of the board will serve without compensation.
Okay. Mrs. Hoffman, if you can note in the minutes the first reading of this ordinance, please.
All right, next we have a municipal order of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, making the written determinations required by KRS 82083 for the sale or other disposition of property owned by the city. You can see the various fire and EMS equipment, which is on the attached Google sheet, which is all being disposed of by electronic auction. This does require a motion.
Okay, do I entertain a motion that we adopt this ordinance, or municipal order as read? Mrs. Nicely, Mrs. Reckers. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Next, we have a municipal order of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, accepting the bid of Axon Enterprises for body cameras. You can see that the bid is attached, that the total dollar amount is $243,573, which is spread over 60 months. As was kind of made a change with internal policy sometime this year, the reason this is being taken for bid in front of council is because it does extend beyond various budget years, which is why we are requesting the approval of the full bid amount, but again, it is payable over 60 months. Again, it requires a motion and a second.
Okay, Mrs. Reckers, Ms. Jasper Lucas, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, next we have a municipal order of the City Council of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, approving the appointment of Mayor Jessica Fetty as the representative of the city to the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, OKI Regional Council of Governments effective January 1st, 2022.
Okay, do I entertain a motion that we adopt as read? Mrs. Nicely, Mrs. Reckers. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried.
All right, next we have a municipal order of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, approving the reappointment of Jeremy Armbruster, Steve Conley, and Emily Sayers as members of the Board of Adjustments for the City of Erlanger. Those appointments will run through January of 2026.
Okay, do I entertain a motion that we adopt as read? Mr. Hermes, Ms. Elmore. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next, we have a municipal order of the City Council of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, approving the reappointment of James Brown, Michael Stubblefield, and Jim Vyox to the Local Appeals Board for the City of Erlanger for the enforcement of the Kentucky Building Code. These terms run through December 31st, 2025.
Okay, Mrs. Reckers, Ms. Jasper Lucas. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next, we have a municipal order of the City Council of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, approving the reappointment of Denise Sterling and Gary Wilt as members of the Code Enforcement Board for the City of Erlanger. Those terms will run through December 31st of 2024.
Ms. Reckers, you're on it tonight. Mrs. Cahill, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next, we have a municipal order of the City Council of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, approving the appointment of Mayor Jessica Fetty as the representative of the city to the Northern Kentucky Planning Development Services, PDS. Management Board and the appointment of Council Member Tyson Hermes as the alternate effective January 1st, 2022. This will be a one-year term.
Okay. Mrs. Cahill, Mrs. Elmore, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Can't take you anywhere.
Next, we have a municipal order of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, renaming Rainbow Park at 3007A Rainbow Terrace Drive to Cahill Commons.
Mr. Nipper and Mrs. Reckers, I saw your hands go up first. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right. I want to give Mrs. Kyle a thank you.
I need to thank Corrine Pitts, who came, I forgot when she came. She came to speak about something, and I know she mentioned that in her little speech, and I was thinking the same thing, so have to give her some credit too, or she might get mad at me, so thank you, Corrine.
Don't want that. All right, very good. Well, thank you. For announcements this evening, I just want to remind everybody of the home decorating contest. This is a big deal. December 10th through the 12th is going to be the judging. Yeah.
I got a text yesterday from a resident that said, can you tell me the website to go to vote? And I said, I don't think there's a website. There's not, is there? Okay. I said, I think there's judges, and I think they have to contact Kim Wilkie. And I told her to email Kim.
So the way that it works is there's judges picked by Kim, and they all go out over this weekend, and they're given a clipboard and the streets that they are supposed to go down, and then they write down all of their favorites.
That's what I thought,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know where this person thought I thought there was a website. I went back through Kim's email about the decorating contest, and I was like, I am not seeing a website anywhere, so I just want to make sure I wasn't missing something.
And then the winners will be announced the week of December 13th. So turnaround is very quick on that one. All right. One other thing, the Erlanger Luminary Night is December 24th. So anytime between now and then, come up to the city building during normal business hours and get your little kit. There's a whole little kit with candles and little white bags to do your luminary. And everybody's asked to put their luminaries out to guide Santa's way for Christmas. All right. Any other announcements for this evening? All right. Do I entertain a motion that we adjourn? Mrs. Jasper Lucas, Miss Nicely. I'm sorry, Steve. I cannot see you at all. You didn't raise your hand? All right. I'm sorry, dude. All right. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Have a good evening.